place to kick off 2020. A place where legends are made, races are won, and hearts are broken. It's world class, it's a fan favourite, and it's none other than the beautiful Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit. This is the first stop of 7 rounds on the calendar. It's the My Bike Australian Superbike Championship presented by Motul. And it all kicks off right now. Welcome to 2020. Eminata Francesco and Steve Martin back with you. A new year and a new naming rights partner on board. We welcome My Bike and Steve after a thrilling 2019. Well, the end to that championship, Mike Jones taking it out on the third last corner of that very last race. Just goes to show how amazing ASBK is and how far it's come.
Yeah, what a race it was. What a year it was. Who would have thought that the championship would have come down to 1 point, 3 corners from the end? It just shows you how far we've come.
And it's going to be bigger and better this year. We've got a cracking schedule for you for 2020. This weekend, of course, we are alongside World Superbikes. Again this year, alongside Asia Road Racing Championship. And we're really thrilled to tell you that we are joining Supercars in May, which I'm really excited about. I've never been to Perth. Steve, can you tell us about the Wanneroo track?
What a place to race superbikes. I have been lucky enough to ride around there, but the thing about going to Perth is all the fans come out. We're going to have big crowds. We're going to have lots of on-track action, and it is just such a great track for the superbikes to ham it up.
Now, as well as the schedule, there's plenty of other news, including all of these movements that happen in the off-season up and down pit lane. Let's take a look. The 2020 My Bike Australian Superbike Championship presented by Motul is here. This season there's plenty to be excited about, including a new track, new naming rights partner, and of course, lots of riders wearing new race suits. It's been a silly season indeed, with plenty of movement up and down the lane, some new bikes, and even new teammates. Let's begin with an exciting change which sees Wayne Maxwell on board a Ducati for the very first time in his racing career.
It's been so stressful trying to find, the hundreds of thousands of dollars it takes to race at the level I was prepared to commit at, because I didn't want to take a backwards step, because it'd be very naive of me to think that I can race the likes of Herfoss and Mike Jones and that, and take a backwards step. So it's been a massive commitment, but we're here now.
He's not the only quick V4R in the field though. He'll be trying to keep up with the reigning champion in Mike Jones, who returns to defend his title with the DesmoSport Ducati team.
The competition is so strong, even stronger than last year, and it's going to be a real hard fight all the way to the end.
He won't have his head engineer though. Paul Prix, while still wearing red, will just be in a different garage, the Penrite Honda Racing garage that is. Troy Herfoss signed his deal at SMP in 2019 and gets ready for another big battle, this time in a one-rider team, still headed up by team boss Dion Coote.
I just want to get away from the first round within striking distance, be aggressive in all the races, and take it to the guys at the end of the year is always a goal.
From one factory team to another, there's a bit of a shake-up at the Yamaha racing team. Crew Halliday stays put for his second year after a strong finish in 2019, but he'll have a new teammate in Aidan Wagner.
Yeah, it's a big switch up coming from a privateer setup where you're doing a lot of the work yourself and getting help here and there where you can. It's definitely a big step forward and a big possibility to have really good results this season.
Also returning to the grid, this time to a factory-backed team, but still in green, is Glenn Scott. While injury hampered his last season, he's hungry and caught the attention of team boss Calvin Riley, taking the second seat at Kawasaki BC Performance. He'll line up alongside Brian Starring, who's no stranger to this paddock, returning to ASBK for his 5th season. Adding to the lineup of previous ASBK champions is seasoned veteran Glenn Allerton, who endured yet another comeback last season. He's back in the Maxima BMW uniform for his 15th year in ASBK. Josh Waters just this week launched his 2020 campaign, sticking with what he knows best, the Suzuki GSXR 1000.
The people involved in my program have done an amazing job to even get us so we're here, and I'm looking forward to it. Our team's very, very small, but we'll keep trying our hardest and show them what we can do.
Finally, there's another guy joining this privateer list for the season. After there being no room for Daniel Falzon at the Yamaha racing team, he'll be hoping to have the same success he had on the Cat back in 2018. That's right, the cat is back. And so is ASBK. It's bigger, it's better, and it's going to be a belter of a season. ASBK 2020 starts now. Was certainly one of the silliest seasons I think we've ever seen. What do you think was one of the most interesting moves, Steve?
Well, I think when you look at the amount of movement we've had, the most interesting move has got to be Wayne Maxwell, moving to a bike that should be competitive but hasn't been proven yet, and also a privateer team, something which is new to him. So really looking forward to what that package can bring.
Well, we watched Wayne Maxwell in a very interesting qualifying session, that was for sure, and it was him that took pole position. Lots happened in that qualifying session too. Lots of surprises, including Aidan Wagner, who qualified in 13th position. Glenn Scott was up the back of the grid, but as I said, yes, it was Wayne Maxwell who took pole position, and Steve Martin caught up with him after qualifying.
Wayne, that was an impressive qualifying, nearly a second quicker than everybody else. You must be feeling pretty good.
Yeah, super stoked to, we were at the top of the session in the time practice on the wet tyre, and then it dried out and there was a flurry of fast times. Pushed us through to have to go through Q1, went through Q1 and into Q2, so to go through the hard way and get pole, it's a great reward for the Boost Mobile racing with K-Tech team.
And for the races, can you maintain that pace?
Yeah, look, I hope so. We've done a lot. We've done the work. We're confident. Having outright speed over the field is always handy. That knows that when you come back to race pace, you're there or thereabouts. So, yeah, super excited and looking forward to the challenge.
All right, best of luck.
Thank you.
So there you have it, Wayne Maxwell sitting on pole position for the weekend. He's one guy that loves this track amongst many others. Let's hear about the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit, kicking it off from our very own Steve Martin.
Phillip Island. It's one of the most electrifying pieces of real estate on Earth. This track has long been a mecca of motorsport, and yet again our ASBK riders are lucky enough to start their 2020 season right here. But putting the perfect lap together takes big commitment.
As the lights go on and we are underway, great start from the front row of the grid.
It all starts on the long straight, heading into turn 1.
Keep your eye on Arthur Cece's coming down the inside on bike number 61.
Over 300 kilometres per hour is what we hit heading into the braking zone.
You need to be pinpoint accurate if you want to get it right.
Turn 2, this is a spot where you can make or break a lap time.
Drive out is crucial because you want to keep your speed up through here.
And stay out of trouble in the tight turn 4.
Oh, Alan's off. Oh, not the way he wanted to start his first outing on the next gen BMW.
The bikes dance heading out of Siberia into Hayshed, and that sets you up heading into Lukey Heights.
As Mike Jones goes up the inside through the Hayshed.
You'll see plenty of overtaking at this part of the track.
The Waters is going backwards now. Everybody's going past him. Perhaps he's got some sort of problem.
Blind over the hill into turn 10 and then hard on the picks.
Look at Bayless. He's lost none of his strength.
Up through the gears is the name of the game through 11.
But you know you're riding well if you're leading into turn 12 with both wheels drifting towards a ripple strip.
Maxwell up the inside. She's made it up the inside. It's side by side now. Phillip, they head onto the straight.
And hopefully victory by the time you hit the line.
But it is Wagner who takes the win from Bad Boy Jones in 200
As we get set and ready to go racing for our very first Kawasaki Superbike race for 2020, we say a very big warm welcome and welcome back for the season. Hello to Phil Harlem.
Thanks very much, Emma. Great to be back here at Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit, the traditional home of Australian motorcycle racing. 4.45 kilometres of action, as we just saw in the track preview with Steve Martin. Turn 1, a very, very fast corner, requires a lot of commitment, and personally my favourite corner on the circuit, Turn 2, the long sweeping left-hander. Steve, it certainly is a great place to set yourself up for the rest of this remaining lap.
Oh, it certainly is, Phil. Turn 3, flat out fifth gear through there, one of the fastest corners in Australia, into the really tight turn 4, all the way back down through the gearbox, hard on the brakes, plenty of action to be had had through there, then into Siberia corner. Boy, that one is an absolute cracker of a corner. We heard the boys say that the bikes dance out of there. Very important to keep the drive down as you head into another one of the fastest corners on the circuit, the Haysheet corner. One of the few right-handers, very critical to get it right.
Yeah, and you can set yourself up for an overtaking manoeuvre into turn 10 as you come across the top of turn 9, more commonly known as Lukey Heights, and then hard on the brakes down in towards turn 10. You feel like you're falling off the face of the earth. And then, Steve, the all-important run to the finish, it starts here at turn 11.
Yeah, it certainly does. Turn 11's not my favourite corner on the track, but I'll tell you what, the next one is 12. You can really wind it up. The bike slides, two-wheel drifts all the way out to the edge of the track, and then you've got to tuck in behind the screen, make it down to that finish line, hopefully get over the line, over 305 kilometres an hour as these superbikes are heading down this straight. And I'll tell you what, Phil, it's a great feeling if you get it right.
Yeah, as we said, 4.45 kilometres of action, and no better place to start the season than Phillip Island. The weather here today, a little bit cloudy, getting ready for race 1 to get underway. And as you can see, a very healthy crowd here this weekend to watch this first round. Time to head down to the grid. Emma's down there with some of our riders before race 1 gets underway.
Thought I'd start with the reigning champion, Mike Jones. Mike, starting from 6th, obviously a little bit further back than you expected to be.
Yeah, look, obviously we had a tricky start to the weekend, and the qualifying position's not absolutely ideal. Obviously we want to be on the front row of the grid there, but second row of the grid's still strong, and I believe I can win the race from here. You know, a few people said to me I've won the races at the end of last year from 7th position on the grid, so 6 is even better than that. So we'll see how we go.
Go get him.
Cheers, thank you.
Mike Jones, our reigning champion, of course. He beat this guy right here in the third last corner in that last race of the season in 2019. Hey, Troy, how you going? Only ones, well, they're leading the charge on the Michelin tyre this year. Feeling good getting into this first race?
Yeah, we're excited. Helmet's on because it's a short turnaround today. Yeah, excited to get going. It's a bit of an unknown, isn't it, the Michelin tyre? But so far I've really enjoyed it. We're very competitive, as always, but probably a little bit more so at Phillip Island than we have been. This is around my usual qualifying position, so hopefully I can fight in the races to the front.
Thanks, Troy. Good luck. All right, we'll let him get focused and ready, and we'll head around here to Glenn Allerton, who, starting from 4th position, haven't caught you yet this weekend. Glenn, how are you going? Starting up in 4th, is this where you expected to be? Fantastic position.
I mean, we've been working really hard to get our bike set up, and had some big changes to the bike, so it's not a surprise. This is where we want to be. Actually, probably could have been a little bit further up if qualifying went a little bit better for us, but it is what it is. So we'll just work hard and try and get ourselves to the goal is to finish on the podium. So let's see how we go.
Hope to see you on the podium.
Thanks.
Go get him. We need to catch up with the guy sitting on pole position, so let's catch up with Maine Maxwell as he does his stretching. I'm not going to join in. I'll just wait for him to finish up. But yes, Wayne Maxwell looking very quick on that V4R Panigale Ducati. How are you, Wayno? Getting ready and prep, starting from exactly where you want to be, pole position.
Yeah, look, absolutely stoked to get the Boost Mobile racing with K-Tech bike on pole position to reward the guys for their hard work. It's a fantastic start to the 2020 ASBK season.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
We'll see if we can jump in with Josh Waters quickly. JW Racing. Josh Waters, just quickly, so exciting to see you on the grid with JW Racing. Feeling confident for this one?
Yeah, the first race is always difficult, and with limited testing and everything, so it'll be good to get this one under our belt, and just hope to have a good ride.
Go get him. All right, guys, I'm so excited for this one. It is the very first race for the Kawasaki Superbikes for the 2020 season. Who will take out the win? It's over to you, Steve Martin and Phil Harlem.
Yeah, thanks, Emma. Great to hear from the riders down there on the grid. Well, so much change in 2020, Steve Martin. A lot of former factory riders now riding for privateer teams, and 2 of them on the front row of the grid, and it is a very impressive front row. As we said, Wayne Maxwell will start from pole position with Crew Halliday on the brand new 2020 R1 in 2nd and Josh Waters in 3rd.
Glenn Allerton on the BMW, good performance from him. Troy Herfoss, brilliant in 5th position, and Mike Jones, watch out.
Yeah, Matt Walters in 7th, Brian Starring in 8th, and Daniel Falzon back on the Caterpillar Yamaha in 9th.
Josh Hayes from America, good to see him here. Jed Metcher back in the championship, and Bo Beaton on the Ducati.
In 13th, Aidan Wagner missed Q2 along with Arthur Cecis and Max Croker in 15th. Good to see him back.
Sloane Frost from New Zealand, Lyndon McGee having a good run out, and Dominic De Leon in 18th.
Back in 19th position, we've got Nathan Spiteri on board his Suzuki, Giuseppe Scarcello on board a Ducati, what else? And Dean Hasler on his BMW in 21st.
Massive field here. Matt Tooley, Hamish McMurray and Adam Senior from Western Australia in 24th on the grid.
25th position, Michael Edwards. Glenn Scott all the way back in 26th and Evan Biles in 27th. A couple of mishaps in qualifying for them, and Brendan McIntyre didn't record a lap in qualifying. That's why he's on the back row of the grid. Look for those three to be charging forward. What's that, Steve Martin? Is that Mike Jones off onto the outfield? Looks like a problem with the DesmoSport Ducati.
He's out before it's even started. He can't get over. He's looking at the bike. There's no way they're going to get that back on the track now. All over for Mike Jones. This is terrible stuff for him and the team. Boy, oh boy, big points lost.
Well, the reigning champion is out as we get ready to go racing for race 1. 2020 My Bike Insurance Australian Superbike Championship, and they are off the line. Superbikes are go, Steve Martin, as we blast down towards turn 1, and it looks like Josh Waters on the JW Racing Suzuki that will hit turn 1 in the lead.
What a good start from Josh Waters. Good to see him out the front. Wayne Maxwell's there in second position. Is that back up there as well? Crew Halliday's moved himself into fourth. Brian Starring's up there too. All the main contenders off to a good start.
Yeah, Troy Herfoss just getting pushed a little bit wide in there in fifth position. Glenn Allerton right behind him. Looks like a pretty good start for Matt Walters, and also Daniel Falzon on board that highly distinctive Caterpillar Yamaha, the yellow and white machine, as we head down towards turn 4 for the first time. But it is Maxwell challenging around the outside, but Waters runs in there very deep, runs a fraction wide. Maxwell goes up the inside. The Boost Mobile Racing with K-Tech machine hits the lead.
Well, we thought this might be the case. Maxwell was dominant in qualifying, and he's already leading off of pole position the first half of this lap out of Siberia corner. He's on a mission trying to show the rest of this field what it's all about.
Was that a couple of drops of rain I could see on the camera down there at Siberia as well, as we see the forlorn Ducati of Mike Jones being pushed back into the pits. We'd like to know what that problem is. Hopefully we'll find out a little bit later on as the field streams across the top of turn 10. Look at Herfoss hard on the brakes. Starring's up into third place. And he's got Troy Herfoss and Crew Halliday right on his tail.
Well, I don't know if they were raindrops, but it might have been Mike Jones' tears that were falling out of the skies there. But no tears for Wayne Maxwell, who leads the front out at the moment. Good start by the Kawasaki man, Brian Starring, there in third position. And Herfoss is there too. The main contenders are in this one, Phil.
Certainly is. That top group of 5 separated by not much at all as they head across the line for the first time. Look at Allerton and also Matt Walters. Matt Walters coming up the inside of the Maxima BMW down in towards turn 1 as well. Matt Walters has started off the season just as he finished off last year at Phillip Island on fire.
Yeah, he is so competitive. The last half of the season, he was super fast. He's lost nothing in the off-season. If anything, he's running with these guys better than he ever has before. So let's just see what he can keep up. Crew Halliday there, work to do for him, back in fourth position. He wants to win this new 2020 bike for this year with some major upgrades.
Well, new 2020 bike for Crew Halliday, not so for Troy Herfoss. They'll have to wait a couple of rounds for the brand new Fireblade, but look at Herfoss. He is literally riding the wheels off the old Fireblade as they come through Siberia and make their way up towards the Hayshed, one of the fastest corners on this circuit. It is still Maxwell that leads. Quick dash down to the pits and talk to Emma.
Calvin Riley, I was chatting to Brian this morning, who was really disappointed with qualifying, but look at him go, already up into third.
Yeah, look, we had a tough qualifying, but we're seeing the racer coming out of Brian now. That's the thing he's very good at. He's very good at racing, and let's see what he can do. He's in a bit of a tight battle in the front there at the moment, so let's anybody's race at the moment. So
thanks. Good luck.
Thank you.
Great to hear from Kelvin Riley there from BC Performance Kawasaki as our lead group of riders is getting bigger and bigger, making our way through turn 12. Look who has latched onto the back of this group, Steve Martin. He started from 13th place on the grid, and he's now right behind Matt Walters, bike number 28, Aidan Wagner. Victor in 2 of the 3 races in 2019 at the first round is now into this lead group.
Yeah, if you remember last year, he was insane, the way that he could dive up the inside. He's a big danger man. Watch him in this pack. He has got the ability to work his way through. Definitely a danger man in the pack.
Here we go, out of turn 2 now. It is still Maxwell at lead's got a little bit of a gap over Troy Herfoss, who's managed to muscle his way on bike number 17 up into second position, ahead of Josh Waters on the JW Racing Suzuki. The former factory Suzuki rider is now running his own privateer effort, a bike that was sitting in his garage for years as Halliday comes up the inside on the 2020 R1, bike number 65, a man that is very determined this weekend. He qualified in second on the grid, and look how smooth and calm he looks now as he makes his way up into third position. He's got the leg out style. That's how Crew Halliday likes to ride.
I love the way Halliday rides. He's absolutely insane. But up the inside there, look at Troy Herfoss. As smooth as you like. Michelin shod this year. Dove up the inside. That's one of the best moves I've ever seen him make here at Phillip Island. I'll tell you what, he's also a guy to watch in this race. He's in it for victory. Remember, on Michelin this year.
Yeah, and we've got a three-way tyre, well, haven't we, in 2020 in the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance Kawasaki Superbike class. We've got Pirelli that lead with Wayne Maxwell. Michelin in second place with Troy Herfoss on board the Penrite Honda. And back in the pack, the first Dunlop runner, Brian Starring. Another time to head back down into the pits and grab a quick word from Emma.
Just come back to the garage to check in with Ben Henry and the DesmoSport Ducati team. Absolutely gutted for you guys. Do you know what the issue was?
Apparently there was some fuel coming out of it on the start line, and we've got the bike back here. Everything looks all right. Like the belly pan's sitting there, you can see it. It's there's nothing really in it. Just all the rubber balls and stuff, and they're not wet or anything. I think we just got real unlucky then. All the same, I'm going to make a small modification to the bike to try and make sure that nothing could happen, but. I don't know. I think we got real unlucky, and I'm super disappointed.
Appreciate the chat. Thank you.
Well, you can hear the disappointment in the voice of Ben Henry there. From DesmoSport Ducati is Aidan Wagner. He is torching those tyres, Steve Martin. He's really putting some pressure on them now. Same as Troy Herfoss is putting pressure on Wayne Maxwell. He's taken the lead, Herfoss, and he's got the run as they head up towards top of the hayshed. Here comes Maxwell. He's got a great run out of Siberia, and we're heading to one of his favourite parts of the track.
Yeah, absolutely. Herfoss has got to be feeling pretty happy with himself out there now. The new tyre package on that Penrite Honda working beautifully, but how fast is that number 47 machine? The V4R is a super fast bike. I don't know that Herfoss with the old Fireblade, when they get to the straight, will be able to sustain that lead. Maxwell should blast past him. We'll know very, very soon.
Well, this is where the Honda probably has to play second fiddle to most of the other bikes. It is way down on top speed. But Herfoss, you wouldn't think so the way he's riding through turn 12. Maxwell pulls out. He carries great corner speed. He doesn't even use the top speed advantage of the Ducati to blast on by as they come out of turn 12 and takes a significant break on board the Penrite Honda down in towards turn 1. And Crew Halliday comes up the inside as well. But look at Herfoss running that corner speed as he always does through turn 1. Challenges again, but can't quite get past at turn 2. And look at Waters. He's closed right up on the back of Herfoss as well.
Yeah, this one certainly hasn't settled down yet. We're halfway through. Let's have another look at that. Maxwell gets on the gas. Look at the corner speed he carries there. Out all the way over to the edge of the track, uses a ripple strip and just blasts past on the outside. I don't even think Herfoss saw that coming.
Well, Crew Halliday's moved up into second place and he's now latched onto the tail of the Boost Mobile Racing with K-Tech Ducati as they come across the top of the hill and down in towards turn 4. Herfoss has got the foot out and Brian Starring in 5th place. He's well and truly in this battle as well on board the BC Performance Kawasaki ZX-10R. So we've got Ducati leading from Yamaha, leading from Honda, leading from Suzuki and Kawasaki. Top 5 manufacturers all on different motorcycles.
Yeah, and not only that, so happy for Josh Waters. He's back. He's been in the doldrums a little bit, you might say, in the last couple of 1.5 years, but whatever, it's behind him and he's competitive. Look at him out there. He's in with a big shot at the championship this year, that is for sure, even on that privateer Suzuki, and he's gone wide. Herfoss has gone wide. It looked like he missed a gear there, and boy, that set him back quite a bit. He's in the clutches of Brian Starring now, who's right behind him.
It's one of those instances where you think, oh, something's gone wrong, but how did he manage to keep that bike on track? Troy Herfoss did a miraculous job there to try and keep that Honda. If he did miss a gear, a scary prospect. No more scary place to do it, Steve, than in turn 1. And look how hard he's riding that bike. It is dancing around all over the place. Here's a replay now. You can see he run in very fast there. The back end just twitched. And yeah, something definitely happened there. Herfoss did a magician effort to try and keep that bike on track.
Yeah, he was really lucky to get away with that. But I've got to say, at the moment, the man in second position, Crew Halliday, is still looking pretty composed out there. He's the man. He's worked his way through the pack. And if there is a challenger to the man up front, Wayne Maxwell, it is the number 65 Crew Halliday at the moment. He's looking pretty strong and he's able to shadow him. He seems a bit quicker in parts. And if anything, the R1 is perhaps a little bit more stable on the edge of the tyre.
Just having a look at the lap times, Wayne Maxwell has been consistently in the mid-32s up to half race distance. There's plenty more to come in this first race of the 2020 season. Back shortly. second half of race 1 for the Kawasaki Superbike class in the 2020 My Bike Motorcycle Insurance Australian Superbike Championships at Phillip Island, and Wayne Maxwell leads Crew Halliday and Josh Waters. We're on lap 8 of 12, so 2/3 of race distance down. Our top 3 are still consistently circulating around in the 32s and low 33, Steve Martin, and they've managed to put a little bit of a gap between themselves and our 4th place rider, who you can see just coming across the top of the hill now is Brian Starring.
Yeah, the competition certainly stepped up this year, I've got to say, Phil. Sitting at those 32-minute lap times is pretty impressive this far into the race. Yes, we've seen some 31s in the past on the first opening laps when the tyres are new, but consistently now, these guys are putting in some pretty impressive lap times. And I've got to say that it is the man out front on the Boost Racing by K-Tech machine that is setting those times and setting the pace in this race. And look how much he has stretched the rest of the field out.
Well, there you go. Lap 8, they were all in the 32s as well. Maxwell at 32.6, Josh Waters at 32.9 as well. Look at this battle now between Daniel Falzon and Arthur Cece's, the 2 South Australian privateers, having a great battle. Great to see Daniel Falzon back on board the Caterpillar Yamaha. And Arthur Cece's, well, he always rises to the occasion at the big events, doing a great job here at Phillip Island on board bike number 61.
Yeah, absolutely right. I love that Arthur Cece's is in this championship. Of course, he's got a lot of experience. And Daniel Falzon, well, you wait till he gets that cat machine wound up. Back on the privateer this year, on the privateer cat bike. And definitely, once he gets his head around it, he's going to be in with a shot. He's won here before, a couple of years ago. I think he might have won 3 from 3.
Well, also too, after Cece's this weekend, as he puts some pressure on the back of Daniel Falzon, has got the Suzuki guru Phil Tayton working with him this weekend. Back to the front, it is still Maxwell on 47, the Boost Mobile Racing with K-Tech machine, who leads Crew Halliday. Look how close Crew Halliday is. Do you reckon he means business, Steve Martin? You can see the steely determination through the dark visor on Crew Halliday's helmet. He is all pumped up this weekend, and I think he looks to be riding faster and smoother than I've seen in quite a while.
Yeah, I really like the way that Crew's growing in the last few years. You know, like since he's got on this Superbike, he's just been such a strong rider, and this year it looks like he stepped it up another notch, which is what he's going to have to be able to do if he's going to beat that man out front. Back marker's in the way now.
Oh, look at Wayne Maxwell. How fast did he run in towards turn 2? I think that's Hamish McMurray. They just got a short back and sides from Maxwell and Halliday on the last lap, lap 9, Steve Martin. Josh Waters at 33.0, Crew Halliday and Wayne Maxwell still in the 32s.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive stuff, remembering that that Ducati V4R still has the standard ECU unit on it. A pretty impressive bike from the factory as it comes. Almost standard, that V4 machine.
Craig McMartin made the point to me that it's the most standard bike as it comes off the showroom floor in the field here this weekend. It's only got a set of Racer's Edge fairings and some Pirelli slick tyres.
Probably the most expensive too, I might add.
Until the new Fireblade shows up a little bit later on in the season. But Crew Halliday using that brand new 2020 R1. It's only had one shakedown test in the lead up to this event. And Josh Waters, I think he said that Suzuki GSX-R is 3 or 4 years old and was gathering dust in his shed. Now it's on fire at Phillip Island.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to be happy for Josh Waters. It's all clicked for him here at the moment. The same with all of these guys have got reasons. I mean, Halliday coming on strong. Maxwell's moved on to the Craig McMartin team. He's got to be happy with how he's performing out there. Privateer leading the way at the moment, and a privateer in 3rd. Not often you see that in this class.
Coming round to complete lap 10 now, it is still Maxwell that leads from Halliday. Josh Waters in 3rd. Just looking to see if Brian Starring is still sitting in 4th place. He has dropped off the back a fraction, and it looks like Maxwell is now starting to pile on the coals. Just having a look at the lap times for the first time this race, apart from very early on when there was traffic. Our leaders are back into the 33s, but Halliday and Maxwell setting very, very similar lap times. Josh Waters was very close to them on that lap as well. Oh no, Matt Walters. That doesn't look like a crash, Steve Martin. Looks like some sort of problem with the Kawasaki Connection Rover Coaches machine, and disappointment for Matt Walters, who was riding so well.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't deserve that, that's for sure, but we'll bring you the news on that when we find out. Back at the front now, you've got to think it's between these two guys. Crew Halliday seems to have the bike that's more composed around the corners. Yellow flags out there, no overtaking at this part of the circuit. But he's got to try and find a way through now. Mid-corner speed and composure seems better than the Ducati, but Wayne Maxwell is so good through 12 and down that main straight that he can't be this close. He's never going to be able to slipstream him over the line. He's got to do it early in the lap on the final lap. It's going to be hard for him if he's going to make it stick.
Well, we'll look at their tyres as they come out of turn 11 now. This is where we can see if the tyres are really starting to wear. Actually, both of them looking very, very composed as they come through turn 11 for the penultimate time. It is Maxwell that will lead onto the straight to get the last lap board. We're on lap 11 of lap 12, 4.45 kilometre circuit to go. Maxwell looks now to have a pretty comfortable lead over Crew Halliday, but Halliday will come back as they run through turn 1 and round into turn 2, where he's been very fast all weekend. Maxwell may have even been a fraction wide there running into turn 1, Steve Martin. Look at the different lines now as Halliday tries to set up a passing manoeuvre on Wayne Maxwell.
Well, he's got to do it early in the lap if he can, but this is another spot out of here, out of turn 2, where Maxwell gets the power down and pulls 2 or 3 bike lengths. Not ideal because Crew catches back up through the fast turn 3, but then he can't do anything. He's too far behind. Back marker in the way. This could help. But both guys get through, do they? Crew Halliday's caught behind there.
Now, I think that may be the end of Crew Halliday's challenge. He's lost just a couple of bike lengths. On lap 11, Steve Martin, they were back into the 32s. There's no resting now as they try to come up the hill for the last time. It is Maxwell has a pretty comfortable lead. It's his lap for his race to lose now. The only thing is he thinks Crew Halliday's still on his tail and could very well make a mistake as they come across the top of the hill and down in towards turn 10. That's what Halliday's hoping for.
Absolutely. He's absolutely on the limit now. And you watch down into this next tight right-hand corner. He'll go all the way to the inside and make sure that Halliday can't go up the inside there. He's done that. Maxwell's thinking from this point now that he's got this one. He knows how fast this bike is. He's really just going to hold it together now, and this one's going to be his.
Well, through turn 12 for the final time, it is Wayne Maxwell runs that very fast corner speed through turn 12 and out onto the straight. It could be a first up victory for the Boost Mobile Racing with K-Tech team, and that will give their season a boost. Maxwell to the line, takes the win over Halliday. Great performance on Josh Waters as Dunlop shod Suzuki to take out third position. And as they come to the line now, I think you'll find Brian Starring could have just held on for fourth place. He does. And a bit of a gap back now to fifth place. Oh no, that's Michael Edwards coming across the line. Fifth place was Herfoss. Herfoss was way back to 8th or 9th position earlier on in that race. He's mounted a bigger comeback than John Howard as he comes across the line in 5th position.
Yeah, definitely some sort of shifting issues there for the Honda rider. But look at Wayne Maxwell. How happy is that? First race on that machine. He's been fast all through the off-season, but he's a winner.
Wayne Maxwell takes the win from Crew Halliday and Josh Waters. Great to see Josh Waters getting a good result on that Dunlop machine first time out. Starring in 4th, Herfoss in 5th, Cece's great ride in 6th place. Daniel Falzon in 7th, did a good job as well on board the Caterpillar Yamaha.
Yeah, Lyndon McGee, good to see him back there too. Max Croker, Slane Frost, both beaten, making his way back in the championship. Brendan McIntyre there too. Glenn Allerton dropped back towards the end of that race.
Unfortunately, Matt Walters and Hamish McMurray did not finish the race, and Mike Jones didn't make it off the start line. Time to hear from our top 3. They'll be very excited after that first race.
Josh Waters, after such a long journey to get here and a very big week, I know that you've had. Well done on 3rd position. You've got to be excited.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm shocked. I've been racing for a long time, but the amount of work that we've put in such a small amount of time to get the sponsors we have, huge thanks to everyone, my friends, my family, and just everyone that still believed in me. So huge thing. We'll go back, try and make the bike a little bit better for the next one. We're competing against some extremely fast bikes now that cost a lot of money, and we just need to do what we can do.
Great effort.
Thank you.
In 2nd position, Crew Halliday. Crew, I tell you what, you came so close there. What a race. Take us through it.
Yeah, it's good way to start the year. This 2020 Yamaha Bar 1M, what can I say? I finally got a good start. I sort of panicked there a little bit when I was in 5th, but then I thought, it's only like 2nd lap or so. So, I just made some clean passes, and then I got back onto Wayne. Just out-muscled me down that first straight and out of turn 2, As he should, I'd be doing the same if I had that kind of power, but it's good. I think I was a bit quicker than him in the midsection of the corner, so I was trying to catch him there. I would have liked to try and make a move on that last lap, but lap was getting in the way. But no, Wayne rode unreal. Hats off to him, and big thanks to my team for putting me where I am today.
Well done. Good luck for this, Arvo.
Thank you.
And your winner for the very first Kawasaki Superbike race for this season, Wayne Maxwell, just the way you want to start off your 2020. Well done.
Yeah, thanks so much. It's massive thanks to the Boost Mobile Racing with K-Tech team. The bike has been unbelievable. From the moment I rode the bike, I've fallen in love with it. So massive thanks to them. We've got to hopefully start to get some update parts and we can keep improving. But then was fairly controlled. I was just in a rhythm and sort of just watched the gap. Made a mistake. I got a gap early on. And then it's difficult to backshift the bike because we have to understand electronics. So I made a little mistake at Honda, then made another one at MG, and that's just let them sort of keep them in the race. So we'll revisit the board and come out and attack in race 2 this afternoon.
Go get them.
Thank you.
Well, congratulations to our top 3. Race victor, Wayne Maxwell, second place, Drew Halliday, and Josh Waters. And when you consider at the end of last year, there was some doubt whether Wayne Maxwell and Josh Waters would be in the championship with the demise of Team Suzuki X-Star Australia. A great debut for the 2020 season. Also for our new sponsor, My Bike Motorcycle Insurance.
It is the My Bike Australian Superbike Championship presented by Motul for 2020. We are so thrilled to have My Bike on board as the brand new naming rights partner for this year. So we thought we'd catch up with the GM for AWMF, Andrew Eldridge. Andrew, thank you so much for coming on board for 2020. What made you want to be a part of ASBK?
Well, Em, it's a great opportunity for us to be part of a really good, growing part of the motorcycle industry. And as we all know, the ASBK has grown immensely over the last couple of years. And by coming on board, it gives us an opportunity to provide some money to help the series and also to help the riders and general racing community to insure their bikes. And AWMF can also assist them with their financing of their bikes.
Well, we're down here at the very first round at Phillip Island, beautiful Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit, and you're part of this great expo. It's almost a famous expo. What's so special that you've got on display at the moment?
Well, one of the bikes that we're really lucky to have on board is the current Sherco off-road bike, and that's the bike that Sherco raced in the Australian Off-Road Championships. And AWMF and My Bike Insurance are also proud sponsors of that team as well.
Something else about Australian Superbikes, the racing is incredible. So I really think that you've done the right thing with getting on board.
Emma, it's a great opportunity, great time for us to be on board. Like, if the racing this year is half as good as it was last year, the whole championship can go to bigger and better things, and My Bike and AWMF are really proud to be part of it.
Well, I've already gotten mates rates for my motorcycle insurance. Maybe I could get a cracking deal on this one too. I think it suits me. Thanks again to My Bike, the official naming rights partner for 2020.
Boost Mobile Racing with K-Tech team is formed up of the owner, Craig McMartin. He's the team, he's the team owner. And then we've obviously got Adrian, who's my crew chief, and Greg from Racer's Edge, who works on the bike. And Craig's brother helps out, and Greg's wife, Julie, does all the, bookings and all that sort of stuff. So it's a very small, tight-knit team. There's not a lot of money to make it work as if a factory team, so everything has to be accounted for. And it's, for me, it's a really good feeling because the drive that everyone has to win is second to none.
I would say I would prefer this year if I had a teammate. We've gone to Michelin tyres this year, and no one else has sort of jumped on board and started using the Michelin tyres yet. So every time I go on track, where the information is quite valuable. If I had a teammate, we would be getting double the track time, essentially. So right now it's probably a case of it would be nice to have a teammate, but in general it hasn't sort of affected me too much. I think I do work with the team quite well, so it's not playing in my mind a lot. We've got so many variables this year, so it's just about getting our head down and making the bike as good as possible.
I'm feeling good heading into 2020. The thing I like about this particular season, not only is it my third season with Kawasaki and with the BC Performance team, but as far as consistency and continuity goes, everything's the same. This is our third year with the tyre, the same crew, the same personnel, and the same motorbike. So I'm really a rider that can thrive off getting good at doing the same thing in repetition, I guess. So for those reasons, I think ASBK 2020 is going to be good for me.
I'm a racer, so I want to win, but this weekend we need to just keep building the package we've got. Myself and my brother have done so many late nights, so the preparation isn't like my rivals that are able to, focus on the riding. But that's where I'm not getting the violin out, because that's what the majority of the people in the paddock have to do. But I aim to try and be in the top 5, get some good points, and then go from there. There's a few rounds that I know that with the package I've got will be very, very strong. So I need to try and take advantage of those rounds.
Great to hear from the real stars of the show in the Kawasaki Superbike class in the 2020 My Bike Motorcycle Insurance Australian Superbike Championship. The sun is shining here at Phillip Island, Steve Martin. We've already had one absolute cracking race to open up the 2020 season, and we're getting ready for now race number 2, the second race of the 3 races to be held here at this first round over the weekend at Phillip Island. It's time to head back down to the grid and hear from some of our riders. They're with Emma Francesco.
Welcome to the grid. The sun is shining down here at the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit. Plenty happened in that first race and a very unexpected DNF for this guy, Mike Jones. Tough luck for him, but if anyone can bounce back, it's this guy right here. Mike, how are you feeling going into this one? I just said if anyone can bounce back, it's you, that's for sure.
Yeah, look, we obviously didn't get to start that race, which wasn't ideal. Small little technical issue there, which meant that we couldn't start. But anyway, like you said, we're capable of fighting back, and that's what I'll do in this race.
Go get him.
I'm really keen and excited, looking forward to getting into it.
We're just going to keep walking down a little bit further, see if I can have a quick chat with Josh Hayes, who's here this weekend. It has been, sorry guys, I'm just going to jump in quickly. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here this weekend. Have you enjoyed it?
Thank you. I'm having a great time. You know, I was here for the Classic just pretty recently, 3 weeks ago, and to get the opportunity to have all these people like Addicted to Track, Dunlop, and all these people come behind me and let me come do a round of Australian Superbike is so much fun. I'm having a great time, and hopefully we get a little bit better result this afternoon than we did earlier today, and we're still learning things. Hopefully tomorrow will be our best race. So keep trying to make some strides forward and enjoying myself being here for sure.
We can't wait to see. Good luck. Go get him. Thanks, Josh. 4-time AMA champion. Hey, we've got to check in with this guy, Aidan Wagner, on the Yamaha racing team, with the factory team this year. Hey, Aidan, I caught up with Glenn Allerton a little bit earlier. He said that he had half of his bike on your tyre. Tell us what happened there.
Yeah, it was sort of like a half commitment, I suppose, from my mistake. It was so hard to slipstream Glenn. The BMW was so quick down the straight and was just slowly dropping the group in front, and I knew if they went, my race was over. So I was just trying everything to get in front, and we made contact. Unfortunately, we both ended up in the gravel. We salvaged 8, and yeah, my apologies to Glenn, but you know, this race, try and get through as many as I can straight off the bat and stay with the boys at the front, because I think we did the fastest lap of the race last time out. We just weren't there for the finish.
That's racing. Good luck. Go get him.
Thank you.
Boys.
Yeah, thanks very much, Emma. That incident that Aidan Wagner actually referenced, Glenn Allerton finished back in 16th position. He'd been running right up there. You can see him there on board the Maximum BMW bike number 14. He was right up there with the front group. He'll be looking to make amends for this one. Wayne Maxwell will once again start from pole position, joined on the front row by Prue Halliday and Josh Waters.
Row 2, we'll see Glenn Allerton. Good to see him back in form. Troy Herfoss there, and also Mike Jones, hoping to get his first start of the year.
Matt Walters in 7th. A broken chain in race 1 thwarted his efforts. Brian Starring in 8th and Daniel Falzon in 9th.
Josh Hayes from America, we heard from him a second ago. Jed Metcher, good qualifying. Bo Beaton in the championship.
Aidan Wagner out of 13th. Arthur Cece's a great starter, always in 14th position. And Max Croker, great to see him back in 15th position.
Sloane Frost is here again for another year. Lyndon McGee on the BMW and Dominic De Leon.
Yeah, 19th position, Nathan Spiteri on board his Suzuki. Giuseppe Scarcella on his Ducati in 20th. A V-twin Ducati, and Dean Hasler in 21st.
Matt Tooley, Hamish McMurray and Adam Senior, welcome back to Phillip Island. Adam.
Michael Edwards, Glenn Scott and Evan Bowles back there on the second last row of the grid. They'll be looking to charge forward, as will the bike in position number 28. Brendan McIntyre did not do a lap in qualifying, finished 15th in race number 1. Ready to go racing against Steve Martin. Superbikes are go as we blast our way off the line. Looked like a pretty good start from Wayne Maxwell. Josh Waters always gets a good start, but I think Maxwell has just got the running as they make their way down towards turn 1 for the first time. It is the Boost Mobile Racing with K-Tech machine. Look at Herfoss around the outside. Tries to move up to 3rd position. Can't quite do it. Once again, he's carrying corner speed from the get-go. And the good news is for Mike Jones fans, he's off the line and he's right behind Herfoss.
Yeah, the BMW of Glenn Allerton's there as well. Next Gen, just a little bit of a wiggle there on the outside of the track. Good to see the Next Gen team competitive this year. And talk about competitive, the number 21, Josh Waters. What a sensation back in the championship, running up the front again where he needs to be.
Prue Halliday back there in 3rd place. Then it is the 2 red bikes of Herfoss and Jones, then Brian Starring, then Glenn Allerton. Looked like a pretty good start once again too for the 25 machine of Daniel Fowles on the Caterpillar Yamaha. He is right there behind. And Arthur Cece's once again has got a cracking start. No surprise there though, Steve.
No, he's a fast starter for sure, but Brian Starring, a little bit of work to do there. 4 or 5 guys in front of him. He's with the pack. Everyone running that super fast pace off the line, but it is Wayne Maxwell setting the leading pace at the moment out the front.
Just noticed a big overtaking manoeuvre through the hay shed on that first lap by Matt Walters. Bit of movement down there into turn 10 as they come there through the first time. But it's Jones up the inside of Herfoss. So Jones making amends for that disastrous start to his championship defence, not getting off the start line. Then bike number 1 is on a charge, Steve.
Yeah, that was a big move down the inside in the MG corner there for Mike Jones, but he needs to do it because Wayne Maxwell is Wayne training away out the front.
Full steam ahead for Wayne Maxwell. Here comes Halliday trying to look up the inside of Waters, can't do it. It didn't look like Mike Jones had a massive top speed advantage over Troy Herfoss and Brian Starring, the 2 former teammates having a little battle there, and Starring gets the better of Herfoss around the outside on board the BC Performance Kawasaki ZX10 RR, the second of the Dunlop shod bikes in this lead group.
Yeah, probably if anyone's at a disadvantage in this group, it's got to be that man with the number 1 on his bike, Mike Jones. First time on the track this weekend in race conditions this year for him means that he missed out on all the extra track time that the guys got and experience that they gained in race 1. So this could be a little bit of a learning race for Mike Jones.
It looked like Mike Jones ran wide on the exit of turn 4. Herfoss is now up into 4th position. You can see there Jones is back behind Starring on board bike number 67. Then it's Allerton, Fowles and Matt Walters once again on the charge, right on the back of Fowleson's machine as they come up through the hay shed. And Brian Starring looking very fast early on, which is something that we're not used to seeing. He usually gets dropped off a bit at the start, Steve, and then has to try and claw his way back. But as just in race 1, he's right with this lead group.
One thing I know about Brian Starring is that he's a racer. He can definitely come through. And talking about coming through the pack, there is the number 28, Aidan Wagner. Didn't qualify well. We had a wet session in qualifying. He thought he'd gone fast enough to put himself through. There he goes up the inside, nearly tags the back of Daniel Fowles on. You don't want to get much closer than that.
Well, he said on the grid about it was a half-committed move. That was full commitment with a capital C down into turn 10 on that occasion as we go back to the front. Oh no, that's Josh Hayes, the 4-time AMA champion. Looks like he's had a problem with the Addicted to Track machine. He had ended up in the gravel trap, not the way he wanted to finish race 2. Hopefully we'll see him back tomorrow.
Yeah, fingers crossed they can get that machine working and back out on track. And somewhere near the front, because I'll tell you what, he's a great guy and he really does deserve to be out there racing with the cream of Australia's best.
One of the legends of the AMA Superbike Championship, 4 times champion and genuinely nice guy as well, working with Garrett Gerloff here this weekend in the World Superbike class, who so far has had a pretty impressive weekend. Back to the ASBK action as we make our way out of Siberia and up towards the hay shed. Halliday has just started to get away from Josh Waters at the same time. Herfoss has closed right in on the 3 times Australian Superbike champion from Mildura. The amount of local businesses around Mildura that are supporting Josh Waters with their logos and stickers all over the JW racing machine is very impressive, and it's great to see a real champion of the sport back in this as Herfoss goes up the inside. Another move of full commitment from Herfoss. You'd expect nothing less from the man from Goulburn, now living in Queensland.
Yeah, Herfoss is having a sensational ride here this weekend. If there is a bogey track for him, oh, big move there. Did you see the movement on the back of Starring's bike as we have another look at the replay down the hill? Herfoss up the inside. This is a bogey track for him, but you wouldn't think as you look at that. Commitment on the front tyre there, dives to the inside, straight past Josh Waters, and he says thank you very much.
Well, as we spoke about, Steve, before we came into the studio for this race, the new bike is destined to be here mid-season. They're hoping to try and get it here as early as possible. The current Fireblade does have a top speed disadvantage, but you wouldn't think so the way that Herfoss is riding it. And he's also got the new factor for this year, the Michelin tyres. So far, look to be holding up pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is a track that Michelin knows, so they should have some good rubber for here. It'll be interesting to see how that pans out through the rest of the year, especially when we head into round 2 at Wakefield Park at the end of the month.
Oh, Waters runs a little bit wide on the entry into turn 4. Starring comes up the inside. So you can see how hard these guys are pushing because everyone is making small mistakes here and there, which is allowing some great overtaking manoeuvres. We mentioned a couple of times in race 1 that Herfoss looked to be having some issues. You found out what they were as we look at this replay of Starring. How late was he into turn 4? There is almost in there motocross style, crossed up and sideways. Great action.
Yeah, they were both late into there, but it's Wayne Maxwell out front that is causing all these moments because he is streaking away out front at the moment. Look at those 2 guys. Crew Halliday seems to be the only guy that can run with him at the moment.
Well, it looks like they've rectified rectified those shifting issues with Herfoss's machine. It was a problem with he couldn't change gears properly in race 1, Steve.
Yeah, absolutely. Some sort of issue with the gear shifter or something. Hopefully they've got it sorted for the rest of the weekend. I do remember they had a couple of issues last year at this circuit with a similar problem, so I hope they've got it sorted, because the effort that he's putting in, it's just you can't waste it when you miss a gear.
Oh, look at the movement of these 4 bikes as they come down into turn 1. This is the start of lap 5. You can see them come out onto the straight here. Jones right out onto the grass. He's on the grass on board the DesmoSport Ducati. Does not back off one iota and keeps the bike absolutely pinned, and you can see Starring getting the advantage of the double slipstream there, moves to the outside of the track to try and get the sweeping run down in towards turn 1. This is great action from the second race of the first round of the 2020 My Bike Insurance Australian Superbike Championship, but it is Starring that now leads this group. He's up into 3rd place.
Yeah, Starring got a great drive down that straight, managed to get past the 2 guys there, and he holds a good position in this one at the moment. But meanwhile, out front, there's a big gap back to 3rd position. This is the battle for 3rd now. It's unlikely with a half a race to go, unless someone can really start doing some fast, like lap record times, they're not going to catch those 2 guys up.
Well, last lap there was a 2.8 second lead for our leaders. It is out to a little bit more as they come round for this lap. Plenty more action to come back after this break. Welcome back to Phillip Island as we concentrate on this battle between Troy Herfoss, Mike Jones up the inside of Brian Starring, Josh Waters in there as well, and also Daniel Falzon and Matt Walters. What a sensational battle for the final place on the podium, because our race leader Wayne Maxwell and Cruz Halliday, Steve Martin up 4.5 seconds ahead of this group that are waging absolute war for that last place on the podium.
Not the sort of race that this man would like, though, being in a big crowd of guys like that. I'm sure he'd like to be out on his own, Brian Starring, just getting those points nice and easy. But if he's going to get on the podium this time out, he's going to have to work for it. Boy, big group of guys on a variation of machines and tyres, duking it out right here now.
Well, only 2 laps ago, Matt Walters was the fastest rider in this group. That's how he's been able to drag himself up onto the back of the group currently led by Troy Herfoss. Back to the front now, and look at Crew Halliday. He's right on Wayne Maxwell's tail. It's deja vu for Wayne Maxwell. He's once again got the 2020 R1 of bike number 65, Crew Halliday. They're ready and waiting to make an assault over the final laps. We're starting lap 8 of the 12-lap journey, so 2/3 race distance. A pretty impressive lead, though, over this group, with Jones now back to the front, trying to make amends for that DNF in race number 1, and Herfoss. Once again, Steve Martin, no surprise to see him carrying ridiculous amounts of corner speed through turn 1.
Yeah, he's so good through there, is Herfoss. He can just dive up the inside at any time he likes. He's really got that Honda working well. It seems to be very nimble on the handling and the drive, and the confidence as he turns into those fast corners is second to none of those machines out there on track at the moment. Starring, though, on the brakes, up the inside he goes, makes a move to the front of the pack, runs a little bit wide, but boy, that was a big move by Brian Starring.
Well, that's a lot of confidence in the front end for the Brian Starring. I'm not sure if that was a sorry about that. Actually, maybe there was someone off the track there. There was a yellow flag. Brian Starring saw it at the last minute and had to pull out, let those riders back past. Well, we're on lap 8 of 12. Not long to go. 4 laps to go in this race. Time to head back down to the pits with Emma.
Checking in with Bruce Mobile and K-Tech Racing team owner Craig McMartin. I don't know what to say. Wayne's very quick. He's doing a great job on the Ducati.
Yeah, he is doing a good job on the Boost Mobile V4. So it's Crew's coming quite fast, as we can see. So hopefully, Wayne can keep the pace until the end of the race, and maybe, hopefully Crew might slow down a bit. But we'll see. Crew pushed us all the way in the first race. A few more laps to go, and we'll see how we end up.
Thanks, Craig.
Thank you.
And I think just quietly, Craig Martin is going to push you all the way in the second one as well, as we start now lap 9. Look at this replay down into turn 4 on the last lap. Starring, as we mentioned, a supreme amount of confidence in the front end of that Kawasaki ZX-10RR. Herfoss does not miss an opportunity, comes straight back up the inside, but then Starring realised that there was a yellow flag back at turn 4 and he had to give up those positions. In fact, he's probably given up a couple more with those riders coming through very quickly. Josh Waters, and here we go again. Next lap, it's the same again.
Yeah, he'll be looking for the yellow flag this time, and no yellow flag this time, so he won't be waving everyone past. He's earned the position rightly, and I tell you what, good move by Brian Starring. He does come good at this time of the race.
Well, he's on Dunlops. Right behind him is Mad Mike Jones on board Pirellis. Then it's Dunlops again for Josh Waters on board bike number 21. We're on lap 9 of the Kawasaki Superbike class, and we are looking at this battle for third place with 2 Kawasaki's and 2 Yamahas, a Honda and a Ducati involved in a pretty intense battle.
Yeah, there's literally one of everything in that pack there, so whatever bike you like, watch, because it's here right now.
Here we go, turn 10. Now turn 11. This is where the run to the start-finish line starts. The run down the straight starts here, Steve Martin. It's all about gathering drive and momentum, and one person that's been supreme through that area of the circuit this weekend is Wayne Maxwell on bike number 47, the Boost Mobile Racing with K-Tech Ducati V4R that leads, but glued to his tail once again, as he has been all weekend. The man that was fast in practice sessions, Crew Halliday. Never goes Jones down the inside in towards turn 1. Josh Waters gets the shoehorn out and tries to get the Suzuki up the inside. Couldn't do it. He'll now try round the outside, but Starring has the better track position and will maintain 4th position as we head through turn number 2. Waters, then it's Troy Herfoss, then it's Daniel Fowles and Matt Walters, once again in very close company.
Are you sure this is not the last lap, Phil? These guys are absolutely on the edge out there at the moment on this circuit, just giving it everything they got. But it is Mike Jones now who's, remember, this is the first race of the season. He missed race 1, so very important to get this race under his belt for the experience. And now that he's got a couple of laps under the belt, remember he was on the V-twin Ducati last year, you can just see perhaps he's starting to get a little bit composed with the bike, because this is the first time he's ridden it under race conditions.
Well, he had the back end hanging out through turn 3 on that occasion, and once again coming out of Siberia, I've also noticed Troy Herfoss's fairing starting to flap around in the breeze a little bit there, as we saw in the first race as well. We know the Honda doesn't have the top speed. That's not going to be helping, Steve.
No, definitely not. It looks like a broken bracket or something there, but normally that fairing on the Penrite Honda's a lot tighter than it is at the moment, but certainly flapping, and that wouldn't be helping with the slipstream down the straight. Here we go, another look. Mike Jones goes through, as does the Suzuki. How fast is the Suzuki? Never mind the Ducati. Not much room there. Those guys have got to be just about rubbing fairings and wheels at 200 kilometres an hour through turn 1.
Well, you can see both Starring and Waters look to be trying to carry more corner speed through turn 1, and the master of corner speed at turn 1 will, and apparently at the hay shed as well. Troy Herfoss up the inside of Brian Starring. He seems to be able to turn that Honda on a dime, and this year he's been once again reunited with Paul Free, the man that was there for a lot of Troy Herfoss's success on board the Honda in years gone by.
Definitely an important man to have in your garage is Paul Free. He's actually changed from Ducati last year, Mike Jones, to the number 17 machine, so perhaps there's a little bit of rivalry going on there as well.
Well, he seems to have a thing for red bikes, does Paul Free, as we look now at Daniel Fowles out onto the start at the end of turn 12. It is Jones that leads now as we start the last lap, 4.45 kilometres of action to go. Herfoss trying to charge down the inside, back to the front. It is Crew Halliday camped on Wayne Maxwell's back wheel once again, as he has been all weekend. This is going to be another sensational last lap from these two as they go to war once again. Halliday desperate to try and take a win.
He cannot wait to turn 12 to make this one count. He's going to have to go early in the lap. He's already wasted a third of the lap. He's just very, very close now. We know that the man in front, he's an expert. He's been around for a long time. He's not going to leave too many doors open, but Halliday has got to strike. It's a fine line. Does he go for the points or the win? I know he's young. He's going to go for the win. You watch this, Phil.
Well, Wayne Maxwell said he's having trouble getting the bike into corners. Crew Halliday doesn't seem to be having any trouble getting the bike into corners, and he is carrying a lot of corner speed. We're coming up to one of Maxwell's favourite overtaking opportunities, but he's going to have to try and hold out Crew Halliday rather than looking for an overtake. The way they're in. Oh, that's Halliday. He's run wide. He's run wide at turn 9. Oh, no, I think that's his challenge over. You can see a shake of the head there, and I think he realises that's it, done and dusted.
Well, Maxwell doesn't know it yet because he still thinks he's glued to his tail. Maxwell's on a mission. He's got it all together for race 2 victory here if he can do it. He's got a big lead, but it could all go wrong. It went wrong for him at this corner last year, but he's through safely. It is the Boost Mobile by K-Tech Racing Machine. Wayne Maxwell who comes over the line. 2 from 2 for him. What a brilliant victory.
Yeah, congratulations to Wayne Maxwell and the Boost Mobile Racing with K-Tech team, but congratulations also to Team Yamaha and Crew Halliday. Look at this battle. Herfoss has got it. No, it's Jones. Jones gets through. I think Starring may have got through as well for 4th place. I think Herfoss may have been relegated to 5th in an unbelievable battle there between those guys for that final place on the podium. And it's Mike Jones, his first race of the season, and he starts out the year for him on board the podium as Wayne Maxwell and Crew Halliday congratulate each other after another great battle. 1.1 seconds the gap at the end, Steve, but I don't think that's a fair indication of how well Crew Halliday rode. Hassled Wayne Maxwell all the way. Mike Jones in third, Starring fourth, Herfoss fifth, Waters, Falzon, Matt Walters, Glenn Allerton and Jed Metcher round out the top 10.
Yeah, Arthur Cece's 11th, Aidan Wagner in 12th, Glenn Scott, Max Croker, Lyndon McGee, Sloane Frost, Bo Beaton down in 17th, Brendan McIntyre and Giuseppe Scarcella on the V-twin Ducati there.
Yeah, Matt Tooley, Dean Hasler, Dominic De Leon, Nathan Spiteri in 23rd, Evan Biles in 24th. It's time to go down to the podium and hear from our top three. Another great race.
Mike Jones after this morning, always capable of a comeback. Well done, and an epic battle all the way to the line.
Yeah, thank you very much. Obviously, it was a big step forward compared to race one, and it was an exciting race, to be honest. You know, racing there with Herfoss and Starring, just such a challenging battle, but fortunately got there for third position and on the podium. So very excited, very happy.
Rest up, best of luck for tomorrow.
Cheers, thank you very much.
And in second position, Crew Halliday from the Yamaha Racing team. Wow, you were very close this morning, even closer than maybe tomorrow will be your day to catch Wayne.
Yeah, it's, you know, I seen that gap build between Josh and Wayne. I thought this is the time to go, and I pushed so hard to get to Wayne then, and my tyres started to get a little bit hot, but, you know, Wayne's so fast in the first part of the track, it's so hard to make that time to get back to him when I'm doing pretty spent. So I think I rode past my limit then. I tipped into MG and made... I was going to try make a pass from around Lukey into MG, but you know I washed the front out, and yeah, that was me at my limit. So this is a good race, and you know, look forward to tomorrow.
Awesome effort, well done.
Thank you.
And our winner, 2 for 2, Wayne Maxwell. Congratulations on a fantastic first day for the season.
Yeah, really, really stoked. It's a massive reward for the hard work that everyone at Boost Mobile Racing with K-Tech's put in. And yeah, look, it's been a, you know, there's been so much going on with all the pre-season chit-chat, rider changes, tyre companies coming in, but again, a Pirelli lockout on the podium, and a massive congratulations to them for their hard work and development. And you know, my guys, Adrian, Craig, you know, everyone in the whole team, they've worked so hard, and this is just a reward for them.
Did you feel any pressure, because Crew was right up there on you?
Yeah, I just had to sort of ride my own rhythm and ride my race. I knew where I was strong, and yeah, I knew he had to have something pretty special, and I knew that if he led into the last corner that I knew I was strong there, and I could probably get in beat to the line. So wasn't too stressed. It's fantastic having a bike with power.
Good luck for tomorrow.
Thank you.
Congratulations to Wayne Maxwell and the Boost Mobile Racing with K-Tech team. 2 victories from 2, but Crew Halliday has pushed him all the way, and I expect that he will do so in the third and final race coming up a bit later on this weekend. Well, it's time to look now at another class that is doing some great racing action here this weekend. The Supersport 300. Steve Martin caught up with a couple of young guys in a hurry and a veteran of the class.
I am the expert in this paddock. My predictions are normally pretty good. But when they asked me to forecast the 3 main contenders in the YMI 300 Supersport class, my crystal ball began to smoke. This guy has been learning the ropes now for a couple of years, with mum and dad twiddling the spanners. It's all stepped up for 2020 though, as Benny Baker joins the WNR team, which is going to give him his best chance of winning the championship.
It's really good to have people who know what they're doing, because before I've been with just mum and dad and we've struggled a lot, never really knew much about suspension, so now having someone as knowledgeable as Warwick's really good. So I think I'm a good enough rider, and I've been putting in a lot of work, training, and I have a good team behind me, a good bike. I've got everything I need, so it's just up to me. Hopefully I can do it.
2 wins in his premier season got tongues wagging. This young guy at 15 years old is a guy that likes to take risks. And with him, they normally pay off. Luke Johnson.
The majority of the off-season, I've just been riding the Ninja 400 as well as I have been, and really just doing fitness, training, mountain biking, that's about it. Winning my first ever road racing race was very emotional, and it's something that I always remember. So this year I'm very hungry to win the championship, because next year there should be some big things coming.
He's been there and done that, winning many championships throughout his career. At 22, he might be the elder statesman of the class, but I've got a feeling he's not done with just yet.
I think I can win the championship this year, because
we've got a few championships under our belt now, and we were reasonably competitive at the end of last year. Unfortunately, last year I didn't do the first round, so didn't really have much of a chance of winning, but we got competitive and the points gap wasn't too far at the end. Yeah, this year we've got a really good package. We sorted out the new Model R3 towards the end of last year, so the team works really hard. We've got a great group of guys behind us, and we're stoked. The bike's awesome. I'm really happy with it.
The truth is, I don't think any expert can pick the winner of this class this year, because there's at least 10 to 15 guys that can win. One thing's for sure, the action on track will be amazing.
Getting ready for race number 3 in the YMI Supersport 300 class now. Before we get underway with race number 3, time to have a look at the highlights of very exciting race number 1 and race number 2 for the weekend. Well, there's been plenty of action so far this weekend. It's been dominated by Harry Curry, who's making an appearance here before he heads off overseas to compete for the rest of the 2020 season. And he's been on fire all weekend. Started off with pole position, and you can see him there on board bike number 43 getting a great start. Benny Baker and Jacob Hatch also on the front row of the grid. But the real star of race number 1 early on was Laura Brown on board bike number 355. The former lap record holder in this class at this circuit was right on the tail of our race leaders on race 1. But as usual, Steve Martin, not everybody made it through there. And a few riders coming down at turn 4.
Yeah, it was unfortunate for those guys, but meanwhile back up the front there was a massive bunch, but it was Harry Curry who led the way out front there. Silas Bunting was there as well. Laura Brown was up there as well. John Littris doing a good job in that leading group too.
And Luke Johnson on board bike number 25 hit the lead early on. Harry Curry tried to extricate himself up the inside. Johnny Littris on board 308. Another young gun in a real hurry in this class. Harry Curry took the lead as they came through turn 12, and Laura Brown once again consistently running at the front. She had her time at the front and was well and truly involved in this battle for race number 1. Luke Johnson took the lead as they came down the straight, but once again at turn 4 there was position changing everywhere, and going down there I think that was Ollie Simpson.
Yeah, unfortunately for Ollie Simpson, looks like he might be doing the full season this year. Couple bikes there. Johnny Littris, one of those that went down in turn 1 as well.
On the run to the line, though, was Harry Curry that just managed to hold off the battle between Luke Johnson and Benny Baker. You can see Benny Baker trying to get the aerodynamic run there, but Harry Curry started his weekend off in style with victory in race number 1. He started from pole position once again in race number 2, and did you see the start there from young Angus Grenfell on board bike number 36, one of the riders from the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup, getting off to a great start. Unfortunately, those riders didn't.
Yeah, big accident there at turn 2. Everyone up and okay, but Angus Grenfell, wow, where's he come from? Well, we know where he's come from, the OJC Cup. He's doing a really good job. Laura Brown, though, in that leading group, once again, keep an eye on her, because I tell you what, she's in for some good things this time round, the number 355 machine.
You just saw bike number 127, that's our overseas visitor for Filippo Rivoli, who will be riding in the Supersport 300 World Championship this year. A great debut here at Phillip Island.
Jacob Hatch was in that leading group too. Good to see him up there, but leading the most was Harry Curry. What a lead he had. Big battle for the final podium positions.
Yeah, and he really did that on the first couple of laps of this race. Brandon Demery, the man that you said that would be well and truly in the battle there on board bike number 11, putting in a great ride as well. At 22 years old, he is the veteran of this class, Steve.
Yeah, but he's still fast. Keep an eye on him, because he's in with the big shot of the championship. And rider down there, that looks like the replay from turn 1, and that was Ollie Short who went down there.
Luke Johnson was leading this group of riders. Harry Curry had already made a break, but unfortunately Brandon Demery got nerfed off the track there, given a little bit of assistance by Caleb Gilmore, our visiting Kiwi.
But what about that? Harry Curry won by a country mile, something that you don't see in this class, but over the line it was Luke Johnson and Luke Power, the two Lukes, in second and third.
Harry Curry will start from pole position. Jacob Hatch and Ben Baker, two young guns, join him on the front row of the grid.
Peter Nerlich, Archie McDonald, John Littris on row 4.
Then it's Caleb Gilmore, Luke Power and James Jacobs on row 5, with Yanni Shaw a long way back on row 6.
Big field. Filippo Ravelli from Italy here this weekend, like you said, row 7. Row 8, Kyle O'Connell, keep an eye on him. Tom Drain, Jesse Woods, Patrick Bognar as well, Stephanie Killop, James down on row 11. Massive field here, Phil.
Yeah, it certainly is, and a lot of names a little bit further back in the grid than you would normally expect. One of them, Taylor Ralph, good to see her back in the championship. Had a difficult weekend so far. Race number 3, YMI Supersport, ready to go. Great start. Supersport 300 is go. Jacob Hatch got a cracking start on board bike number 99, and it will be those fluoro orange wheels that lead the group down in towards turn 1. Coming very quickly though is Benny Baker. He's used the slipstream on the first lap, Steve Martin, and will lead them through turn 1.
Well, he's got plenty of company in the name of Harry Curry right behind him. Harry not doing many rounds this year, heading overseas, but I'll tell you what, he wants to try and win 3 from 3 if he can, and he's looking up the inside, can't quite make it. He does, he's gone through the inside.
Well, he only needed a couple of inches to get through there, and he's managed to do it. Scythe bike number 43 through, and Benny Baker's had to play second fiddle now, but look at Laura Brown. She's on a charge once again, up into third position, riding around the outside of Jacob Hatch. She always carries lots of corner speed, does Laura Brown. Down into turn 4 for the first time, and Johnson having a look up the inside on board bike number 25. There's a bit of biffing and barging, and unfortunately his hat, Ollie Simpson's gone down again.
It's 2 out of 2 for him. Unfortunate weekend for the young South Australian, but nevertheless, that's the frenetic pace of these 300 races.
Harry Curry leads as they come out of Siberia on this first lap and make their way up the hill, looking back through the field. There's Angus Grenfell once again. Keep your eye on that young man. He is doing great work in both the YMI Supersport 300 class and the OJC Junior Cup as well. Continually running at the front in both classes with some more, very, very much more experienced campaigners.
Just saw Jacob Hatch there before as we have another look at Ollie Simpson's bike. He got off to a good start, but he's got to work his way back through now, having a big tangle with Angus Grenfell there, just in about 5th or 6th position at the moment.
Another young rider to keep your eye on is bike number 69, Archie McDonald, another graduate from the OJC Blue Crew Junior Cup, and he is doing great stuff as well in the brand new Moto Stars team this weekend, run by the rider coach for the OJC, Damien Cudlin. Jamie Stouffer and Heath Griffin also involved in that team. There he goes, Archie McDonald right on cue on board bike number 69. Another young man that's been very impressive so far.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, as you say, he's one to watch. I've watched his career through the last couple of years, and he's come from being about 3 foot tall to 4 foot tall now, but I'll tell you what, he's so fast. Let's have another look at a replay. That's Ollie Simpson, just tags the back there of, could be Jacob Hatch, and down he goes. So all over Ollie Simpson, tries to pick that bike up, hopefully get back out there and get some track time, but not to be.
Well, here we go through Siberia corner. Johnny Littress on board bike number 308. Keep your eye on him as well. Also a real big star of the future, a multiple Australian dirt track champion, doing some great work once again in this class. He's been in this class now for a couple of years, just keeps getting faster and more consistent, which is important every time he goes out. Big pack of riders now coming up towards the top of Lukey Heights. Johnson, well, he was sitting up there and around the outside, not needing a second invitation. Just having a look, was that Laura Brown on board bike number 355? She's had a crash this weekend, but for the majority of the weekend has been a real pace setter.
Yeah, she's really fast off the mark. She got a good start. She was with Harry Curry, just dropping back in the clutches of this big group now. So a guaranteed podium is far from there for Laura Brown at the moment. Massive group of guys behind her that want to obviously get past her and get those podium positions.
What's even more impressive, Steve, is she's come back from some very severe injuries to be running back at the front of this class, but it's Benny Baker that currently leads her across the line down in towards turn 1. Look at the moves back in the pack, look like Luke Power. You can see those retro green leathers on board the ProWorks machine. He's down the inside of Littress and trying to make his way forward. Archie McDonald there on board bike number 69. So much young talent in this group, Steve.
Yeah, super impressed with Archie McDonald. Hasn't been riding the 300 for all that long, but you wouldn't think it when you're watching him out on track there. Laura Brown with work to do near the front of this pack, but once again, it's Harry Curry with that massive lead.
Yeah, Brandon Demery just got nerfed out of the way by, I think, Jacob Hatch and also Archie McDonald as he came round through turn 2. There's no worry about any experience and expectations in this class as we all come down now into turn 4. Is everyone going to make it through here safely? Up the inside is Luke Johnson on 25. Manages to hold his line on board that ProWorks machine bike number 25. Look at Laura Brown coming back strong as well. Tries to go around the outside of Benny Baker on the 355 machine. Power there on 68. And you can see those retro Kawasaki leathers. Jacob Hatch back there on 99. Archie McDonald on 69. There's so many riders in this group, Steve Martin. We'll be here all day if we try to mention them all.
Yeah, I do love that retro Kawasaki look that Luke Power's got happening this weekend. Hopefully he carries that on for the rest of the year. He's looking pretty good out there at the moment. And he goes around the outside. That's Johnny Littress that just got sucked up a little bit in the pack there and moves back a little bit. But meanwhile, back out front, it's Luke Johnson again who has a big moment.
Well, and I think he's actually caused a couple of riders to balk there. It looked like someone even may have gone down a little bit further back in the group because everyone had to pull their bikes up and change lines. to try and miss Luke Johnson, actually, who just got it wrong on the entry into turn 10. And all the while, our race leader, Harry Curry, is just getting away further and further at the front. A very impressive lead now for young Harry Curry, who's heading off. Oh, that's Silas Bunting, I think, on board bike number 47. That is at turn 10. I thought I saw some action out the back of the screen there when Luke Johnson came down the inside and everyone had to take evasive action.
Yeah, unfortunately, a couple of riders down there. One of them, Silas Bunting. Let's just see if we can catch the back end of that. Everyone got balked there as Luke Johnson tried to make that move. And then just out of your screen, you can see a couple of bikes gone down. Is that Archie McDonald there?
No, that was
Angus Grenfell. Yeah, okay, Angus Grenfell, who got caught up there. Hopefully those two riders are okay, but as we head into the final laps of this race, Phil, there's still a massive gaggle. No one's been able to pull away except for Harry Curry, who's way out front.
Yeah, Luke Johnson was able to come for about 4th or 5th position there in the group to sweep around and take the lead of the group through turn 1. It's the two Lukes at the front. They're using the force as they come round through turn 2 now and make their way out of turn 2 and then the long run down towards through turn 3. No smoking the rear tyre on these machines, Steve Martin. It's all about carrying a massive amount of corner speed, and Luke Johnson and Luke Power at the front. Here comes Archie McDonald as well on board the Moto Stars R3.
Yeah, good to see Angus Grenfell's in that group as well. Massive group of guys. And there goes Luke Power up the inside. He leads into turn 4.
Another rider we haven't actually mentioned, bike number 97, Peter Nerlich. He's right in the middle of this group now on the all-black machine with the yellow and black leathers, riding unbelievably in this final race of the weekend for the YMI Supersport 300 class.
That is really good to see from Peter Nerlich. He's really starting to come of age and he's competitive. This is probably the most competitive I've seen him.
Well, he's ahead of a couple of very fast runners. There he is dicing with Ben Baker. Right behind him is bike number 11, Brandon Demery. And also coming up now, Johnny Littress at the back of this group. He was at the lead of the group, only a couple of laps to go. That's one of the reasons why we love Supersport 300. That was a creative line. Who was that running off the inside of the track across the top of the hill?
Oh, up the inside. What a big move there as Phillip Ravelli from Italy is starting to get the hang of these 300s.
Well, here we go, around through turn 11 for the penultimate time. We're coming down to get the last lap board at the completion of this lap, and it's Archie McDonald that's made his way to the front. Could he be on track for his first podium in his first round on the Supersport 300 machine, Steve, as we come down now to the line? As they weave across, you know who leads onto the straight, probably won't be leading by the time they get to turn 1. Here comes the two Lukes, Luke Power and Luke Johnson, slipstreaming each other. It's like a battle of the peloton in the Tour de France.
Absolutely, and unfortunately for the little Yamaha rider, Archie McDonald, he moved back a couple of spots into 4th position there, but he dives up the inside, can't quite get past, as you say, the power of Luke. That's Luke times 2.
Well, around the outside goes Ravelli on board bike number 127. He will be teammates with Australian Tommy Edwards in the Supersport 300 World Championship this year, and he's having a great outing here on the Supersport 300. His first ever time at Phillip Island, in with a lot of people have done far more laps than him. We've only got half a lap to go now, and it is Luke Power and Luke Johnson that are in 2nd and 3rd position. Archie McDonald comes around the outside. Peter Nerlich, he's well and truly in the battle for the podium as well.
Well, this is top class stuff from these riders. Johnny Littress is in the pack too. Any one of these riders is going to have a big chance. It's going to come down to the slipstream. Let's remember though, this is only for 2nd place because the winner is, well, if he gets to the finish line, is way up the road at the moment.
Yeah, Harry Curry's probably coming across the top of Lukey Heights on board bike number 43, the addicted track Kawasaki Ninja 400. And as we come through the hay shed, it is the two Kawasaki's in 2nd and 3rd of Luke Power and Luke Johnson. Here comes Archie McDonald trying to go up the inside. He's an audacious young fella and he's having a big look up the inside. Is he going to be well positioned to try and get the run now onto the straight? Because the run to the flag starts here, Steve Martin. Ravelli's in there as well, and here comes Johnny Littress. He's appeared out of absolutely nowhere.
But it's all about this man. Harry Curry makes it 3 from 3. He's just going to get through this final corner, tucked down under the screen. Unfortunately, he won't be here for most of this year as he's racing overseas, but Harry Curry, what a perfect weekend for him, and then it's daylight to the rest of the pack.
Well, Archie McDonald comes onto the straight in 2nd position. Can he take his first podium? Around the outside, here comes Luke Power and Luke Johnson. They won't get there. Archie McDonald celebrates in style. 2nd podium for that team this weekend, and I think in 3rd place it may have just been Luke Johnson over Luke Power. Demery in there as well. Wow, Harry Curry takes the win by 8.5 seconds. Archie McDonald in 2nd place, Luke Power in 3rd, Ravelli 4th, Johnny Littress in 5th, Caleb Gilmore, our Kiwi visitor, in 6th place, Benny Baker in 7th, Laura Brown in 8th place. Great result from her. In 9th was Peter Nerlich, and Brandon Demery rounded out the top 10.
Yeah, Jacob Hatch, Reese Outford had a good ride there too. Yanni Shaw back there, Matthew Rindell, Ryan Smith, Jake Senior, Joseph there too. Keegan Pickering back in the field too. Jamie Port is moved up the 300 class this year. Taylor Ralph has made her way back into the championship as well. Good to see her back for this year.
Great to see so many riders from the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup making their way up into Supersport 300 as well. It's time now to hear from our winner, Harry Curry. He's with Emma.
And in first position, of course, winning the round. Fantastic weekend. Well done, Harry Curry.
Yeah, thanks, Emma. Start of the race, Benny got an amazing start, and then sort of ran wide at turn 2. Then I was like, I'll just sneak it on the inside there, and yeah, it was a great race. Hopefully those guys that crashed are all right, and congratulations to Archie and Luke.
Congratulations, well done.
Thank you.
Perfect weekend for Harry Curry, 76 points, 3 races and pole position. He leads the championship. Archie McDonald, his first weekend in the Supersport 300 Championship, and he's in second place on 49 points. Luke Power in third, Caleb Gilmore, Luke Johnson in fifth, Jacob Hatch in sixth, Reese Orchard in seventh place, Benny Baker in eighth, John Litchis in ninth, and Laura Brown in 10th. Any of them win the championship, you wouldn't be surprised. Well, one more race to come on today's program. It is the third and final race for the Kawasaki Superbike class, coming up next. Welcome back to Phillip Island and the third and final race for the 2020 My Bike Motorcycle Insurance Australian Superbike Championship presented by Motul. The riders are out on the grid. The sun is shining. A bumper crowd has made its way into Phillip Island to take in this third and final race. Wayne Maxwell has won the first 2 races, but Crew Halliday has pushed him all the way to those victories. And Josh Waters has also been on the podium along with our reigning champion, Mad Mike Jones. Time to head down to the grid.
I'm starting here in second position because if anyone is going to get it done today, it is this guy, Crew Halliday. What is it that you need to find to beat Wayne for this last race?
I just need to find some turn speed, turn 12 corner speed. You know, Wayne's getting out there really fast. That's where it's doing damage. Yeah, you know, I hope I can just ride as good as I did yesterday. You know, it's going to be a hard race. You know, these guys behind me, you know, they got caught in a bit of a battle. That's why we got such a big gap yesterday, and they probably went home, watched the race, and probably learned from that. So I just need to try to tag on to Wayne again, and you know, hopefully we can get away. But it's easy said than done, and just need to try wait for the last minute to put a move on him. But yeah, as I said, it's going to be hard. And, you know, he's a really good defensive rider.
You pushed really hard yesterday. Please stay safe though.
Yeah, thank you.
Good luck, Crew. Let's go to the guy for JW Racing, Josh Waters, who's lining up for his 100th ASBK Superbike start for this race. Congratulations. What a place to do it at, and a sensational racing career you've had, Josh.
Thank you. I thought you were going to bring me a cake with a little candle.
Yeah, it's just in the back. We're actually not allowed to have open flames out here, so we'll do it later.
A little muffin or something, but no. Far out. I don't feel that old. I still remember.
You don't look it, and you're only as old as you feel, Josh.
Yeah, I remember sitting on the grid when I did my first one. So
really? What year was that?
Oh God, a few years back.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Now you're showing your age.
Yeah. Go out here, try my hardest in this one, and that's all I can do.
Go get him.
Thank you.
So there you have it, Josh Waters, JW Racing. You've got to remember these guys, I mean, they all work full-time and they are working on their bikes late into the night, a massive commitment from all of our privateers. So great to have them all on the grid, and a very big grid for this very first round of Superbikes here at Phillip Island. 28 entries for the Superbikes. We'll jump in here with Glenn Allerton. Glenn, a bit of chatter in that last race yesterday in the heat, so hopefully these conditions suit your bike a bit better.
Yeah, for sure. I'm pumped to be racing this morning when the track temp's lower. Hopefully that gives us a bit of a grip advantage. When the bike's got grip, it works really well. So yeah, we made some big changes overnight to try and make the most of that, so I'm looking forward to this race.
Best of luck.
Thanks.
There you go, Glenn Allerton. So we've seen that he's definitely got the pace, which is great news. Going to jump over here with Troy Herfoss, a bit of some ups and downs for him. If I can just jump around, he's getting ready. Do you have any time, Troy? Just a quick chat. Just wanted to get a bit of goss on the new Fireblade.
The new Fireblade. It's got my name on it. It's over there in the expo. It has Herfoss 17 written on it already. We're just waiting. Parts are here, arrived, and we're just waiting for the shipment to arrive, and we're really excited. As you've seen yesterday in World Superbike, they were very competitive overall, which was refreshing to see. and the world's fastest superbike down the straight. So looking forward to it.
Nice. Good luck for this one.
Thank you.
So here you go. It is the final race for the weekend for the Kawasaki Superbikes. Who will take this one? Can it be Wayne again? Will he get 3 for 3? It is up to Steve Martin and Phil Harlem.
Yeah, thanks very much, Emma. A couple of points to note there from the grid. I've been watching Superbikes for many, many years, Steve Martin, and I find that Glenn Allison is always very dangerous when he's got a smile on his face. I did see a smile there, and anyone that discounts Troy Herfoss, well, you haven't been watching enough Superbike racing. Wayne Maxwell will start from pole position. Don't discount him either. Crew Halliday and Josh Waters on the front row of the grid.
Glenn Allison, another chatty guy, as you said out there. He's going to be going for it this time out. Herfoss waiting for the new Honda, and Mike Jones, what can he do?
Yeah, Matt Walters, great weekend so far. Brian Starring in 8th, a great weekend from him as well, and also Daniel Falzon on the Caterpillar Yamaha.
Josh Hayes, unfortunately, not out on the grid after the crash he had yesterday.
Back there in 13th position, Aidan Wagner. Look for him to be making his way forward as well, along with Arthur Cece's always a fast starter.
Lyndon McGee back in the championship and doing a pretty good job out there. Good to see him next to Sloane Frost and Dominic Leon.
Yeah, great to see Giuseppe Scarcella back in the championship as well on the V-twin Ducati, not the brand new V4.
Matt Tooley, Hamish McMurray and Adam Senior. Adam Senior, as always, making the trip from Western Australia.
Yeah, big surprise to see Glenn Scott and Evan Biles back there in 26th and 27th position. They had dramas in qualifying, along with Brendan McIntyre, who didn't do one lap in qualifying, but he's been inside the top 20 in both races so far on the Western Motorcycle Suzuki. Well, third and final race, round 1 of the 2020 My Bike Insurance Australian Superbike Championship. Superbikes are go! Wayne Maxwell gets a great jump off the line on board bike number 47 as we watch this huge field stream through and make their way down towards turn 1. It looks like Maxwell has just managed to hold off a fast starting Troy Herfoss, who tries once again to go round the outside. Halliday well positioned along with Josh Waters, and Glenn Allerton also well positioned on board the Maxima BMW.
Yeah, good start from BMW's Glenn Allerton there on the new S1000RR. Brand new machine for 2020, and I'll tell you what, that team are making the most of it. Sitting there in 5th position at the moment. Pretty good start for Brian Starring too. And really looking forward to see what he can do. He hasn't had a win yet this weekend, but I'll tell you what, if anybody can, and somebody that does know how to win around this circuit, it is the number 67, Brian Starring.
I did see a black bike charging forward from back in the grid. I thought, hey, that's Arthur Cece's right on cue, but it's not. It's Jed Metcher on board the Metcher Motorsport Suzuki. Great to see the former European 600 champion back in the championship and riding well in this third and final race. I also noticed Matt Walters well and truly out of the seat coming out of Siberia as well. That's going to cost him a lot of momentum on this long drive up the hill.
The other thing I've noticed, Phil, is that the fairing on the Penrite Honda is still moving around there, so perhaps it's just the way it is.
Well, down into turn 10 we go for the first time. A pretty tight pack. Halliday in second behind Maxwell. Then it's Josh Waters, Troy Herfoss, Glenn Allerton. Brian Starring, the green bike with the red helmet, is clearly visible there. Right behind Glenn Allerton. Then it's Mike Jones. Didn't get the best of starts. He's dropped back a little bit from his second row of the grid position in 6th place as they come out onto the straight for the first time. Steve Martin, there you go, the field streaming through. You can see there Jed Metcher well and truly placed, and it looked like Daniel Falzon and Aidan Wagner banging elbows as they came onto the straight on board their Yamahas.
Oh, Allerton looks up the inside there on the number 17 Herfoss. Can't quite make the move, but definitely got some speed out of that BMW. I'll tell you what though, over the period between race 2 and 3, there's been time for the teams to think. And if anybody's had to think, it's got to be Team Yamaha there. And they've been working hard on trying to find a way to just close that gap back to number 47. Now, he's been so fast around this part of the circuit, has Crew Halliday, but it's the last part of the circuit, and out of turn 12, where they've needed to do some work. Perhaps change the bike setting. Keep an eye on turn 12 in the last part of the race to see if they've been able to do it.
The other thing that's been made by a few of the riders, the point, Steve, is the different track temperature from yesterday afternoon, where track temperature was up around 40 degrees. This race, early in the morning, track temperature a fair bit cooler.
Yeah, well, we should see those lap times increase as well, or be faster, actually. And one thing hasn't changed from yesterday. It's number 47 has pretty much led every lap of the race so far this weekend.
Well, what's been impressive is Wayne Maxwell looks like he's riding at 99.9% every single lap of every single race so far this weekend, just doing enough to ride very fast and consistent lines. He has made a couple of little mistakes, but as we've heard, that's on corner entry where he's struggling to get the bike stopped and turned. And Halliday has been very fast on corner run-in and mid-corner as well. It's been a great battle between the two bikes with attributes at clearly different areas of the circuit.
Mike Jones back there in about 6th or 7th with a lot of work to do. He didn't get the best of starts. Qualifying really hurt his pace. He's going to have to torch those tyres if he's going to get up with the front leading group.
Well, first flying lap 2, saw our top 5 riders all into the 32 straight away, with Glenn Allison also recording a 32. That will be one of his best laps of the weekend. They've been working so hard on that Maxima BMW, and it's good to see that privateer team finally getting some results.
Yeah, absolutely. Bit of a slide there from the back of Wayne Maxwell's bike. And it's good to see that the group are closing up. Almost looks like Wayne Maxwell doesn't have as much of an advantage at this part of the time of the race as he had yesterday.
When we were talking after race number 2 yesterday afternoon, Steve Martin, after the race finish, you mentioned that you're so impressed with the speed of Josh Waters early on the race, on board those Dunlops and the Suzuki. He's been riding very well all weekend, and he's completed the first couple of laps in this race in the same position as he did race number 1 yesterday afternoon, right on the back of our race leaders.
Yeah, really, really impressive stuff for him. I guess as we look at Brian Starring in the past, I mean, Starring's and the Kawasaki team, the BC Performance team, has sort of struggled at the start of the races. So we sort of put it down to be a tyre. Big overtaking move there as Jones starts to make his way forward. But I think that Kawasaki need to have a look at their setup a little bit, and maybe Brian needs to work on just getting off of the start line.
Here we go. Here's a replay of that move. You can see Allison, he just ran a fraction wide, and it was all Jones needed to drive the DesmoSport Ducati V4R straight up the inside, and Allison might be able to get an advantage now by tucking into the slipstream of the reigning champion as they make their way down the straight. No, it is still Jones that leads that little group, Starring right behind Allison. Well, there's two guys that have between them won 6 Australian championships. Allison 3 Superbike, and Starring, well, he's won a 125, a 600 and a Superbike down to the pits.
Always a pleasure checking in with Troy Bayliss. And Troy, obviously a bit of a hard day for Mike Jones yesterday. What was his mindset this morning?
Yeah, yesterday didn't really go to plan, Emma, and that's racing sometimes, but it wasn't a bad result yesterday afternoon, and we were hoping for even a better one this morning. But 6-spot start, and then not a pretty average start to the race. Like his actual start wasn't good, so his outright speed's looking pretty good out there now, but basically he's missed the boat, and that boat sailed, and we've got to put our thinking caps on now and move on to the next one.
Racing aside, how good is this event? Australian Superbikes alongside the World Superbikes, and we all love this racetrack, don't we?
Yeah, exactly. To come back to Phillip Island, see lots of familiar faces. It's great for me, and I think it's great for us guys to line up inside. All the guys come out and have a watch, so it's great.
Thanks, Troy. Bring on 2020.
Cheers. Thank you, Emma.
Great to hear from Troy Bayliss there, and I think he does make a good point, because Mike Jones is now 3.4 seconds off the lead at the completion of lap number 4. He's lapping at the same time as our race leaders, but I think, as Troy said, he has actually missed the boat. Herfoss is the rider just ahead of him that you can see, but this is an interesting battle between Glenn Allison on board bike number 14, the white Maxima BMW S1000RR, and Brian Starring on board the all-green Kawasaki ZX10RR from BC Performance.
You can just see Maxwell there. Although it looks like he's in cruise mode, he's far from it. He's on the limit there. That back end of that bike just starting to move around a little bit, but he's good at controlling the bike when it moves around. Once again, he does it there too as they head down the hill.
Well, this is one of the things that we've noticed about Wayne Maxwell over the years, Steve. He doesn't move around on the bike a lot. He doesn't lean the bike over. I think he's had one set of knee sliders for the last 5 seasons. Doesn't get the knee down a lot like some of the other riders do, and looks very economical on the bike whilst riding it at 100% the whole time. There's Josh Waters. Look how far he's got the JW Racing Suzuki cranked over, and you can see him blasting out onto the straight there, tucked right in behind the screen. Crew Halliday has just dropped back a fraction, but having a look at the lap times at the completion of lap 5, Crew Halliday is once again in the 32s. In fact, our top 6 riders. Brian Starring also at 32.8 in that lap as well. So the top 6 riders all putting in 32s. They've been consistent at that pace all weekend.
Yeah, that's pretty fast, I can tell you that. Real fast lap times out there at the moment, but the man that's streaking away again, got a bit of a buffer now back to second place, is Wayne Maxwell. Look at that. It's about a second gap. Probably not what Crew Halliday wanted to see.
Here we go through turn 4. It almost looks like that Racer's Edge performance fairing of Wayne Maxwell's machine is scraping on the ground. He's got the bike led over a fairway as he makes his way out of turn 4. There's the factory Yamaha supported YZF R1M. Here comes Maxwell onto the straight. Slow motion footage. Look how economical he is, right on the limit there. Chin right on the tank. Look at the suspension working up and down on board the Boost Mobile Racing with K-Tech machine as he makes his way down the straight. That is great slow motion footage and shows you how hard all those components on the bike are actually working.
Yeah, absolutely. You can get a good look at the wings on the front of that machine too. One of the few bikes in the field with wings on it at the moment, the Ducati. Of course, when the new Honda Fireblade RRR joins us, that's also a bike fitted with wings.
Well, lap 7 of lap 12, so we're just over half race distance. The pace is very consistent. On lap 6, they were all once again in the 32s for our top 3, but the rider in position number 4, Troy Herfoss, back into the low 33s. Jones is still in the 32s, one position behind Herfoss. Can he mount a challenge to try and get back up on the back of the 2018 champion? Plenty more action to come. 4 exciting laps to go to conclude this race. Join us for an exciting conclusion here at Phillip Island, the 2020 My Bike Insurance Australian Superbike Championship Round 1. Welcome back to Phillip Island and the third and final race for the first round of the 2020 My Bike Motorcycle Insurance Australian Superbike Championship presented by Motul. Wayne Maxwell currently leads. He has already won the 2 previous races. Crew Halliday and Josh Waters have also ridden very well. Josh Waters was on the podium in race number 1 and Crew Halliday has been second in races 1 and 2. But these guys here are desperate to try and get themselves up into that final place on the podium, and leading the way at the moment in that battle for 5th position is Mike Jones on board bike number 1, Herfoss on 17 and then Starring on 67. All of them are multiple Australian champions.
Yeah, absolutely. Mike Jones needed a better start if he was going to run at the front of this one, but that wasn't to be. So now he's battling to pick up the minor placings with Brian Starring just in the background there. Troy Herfoss in front of him. Herfoss has got to be pretty happy with this outing. He's had some issues over the course of the weekend, but nevertheless, one of the better starts that he's had to the start of a championship year.
Well, these guys are about 3 seconds behind Josh Waters currently in 3rd place, so I think this is a battle for 4th position, and most importantly, Steve, it's good solid points to take away from round 1. We head to round 2 at Wakefield Park at the end of March as the next round of the championship, and all of these riders have good form there, none more so than the rider on board bike number 17. They don't call him the Wizard of Wakefield for nothing.
Yeah, he's won a few races around there, and I'm sure that if he can get out of here in one piece, he'll put things right next time out at his home track. He just lives, well, he doesn't live there anymore, but he grew up around the corner from the Wakefield Park circuit, so he'll have that in the back of his mind. The man in front, Wayne Maxwell, at the moment, though, he won't be thinking about Wakefield Park. He wants to get this perfect weekend, the perfect start of the year, underway. I don't think he's had a perfect start of the season yet.
Well, he certainly didn't last year. He had a race win and also a very expensive trip through the gravel trap and a painful injury at the end of the round. Have a look at the guys behind that team of Wayne Maxwell as well. Craig Martin, a multiple national champion. I don't think he's ever won a round or a race as a team manager. Greg and Julie Marr from Races Edge Performance, they've been team owners and team managers for many years. They've won races, they've never won a round. They are on track for their best ever round in the Australian Superbike Championship as they come around now to complete 10 laps of the 12-lap journey. A very slender lead over a determined Crew Halliday has Wayne Maxwell as they come onto the straight now. He gets the board there from Craig Martin's brother Dale to indicate what's going on, and it is very close between the top 2. You can tell how determined Crew Halliday is on bike number 65, and I think Steve Martin, here he comes.
Yeah. Halliday's definitely, like, you can just look at the attitude of his bike. It's moving around more than it has been, and he's caught right up to the back now. Back marker there in the way. Does he get caught there? Is he going to go around the outside or inside? This hasn't helped Crew Halliday. That's the second time this weekend that Halliday's got held up a little bit, but nevertheless, he can't give up now. He's still got a couple of laps to go.
Yeah, nowhere near as much as in race number 2. In fact, on lap 10, Crew Halliday was the faster of these 2 riders as they come down to turn 4 now for the penultimate time. Halliday is closing in on Maxwell. It is going to be a 2-man war for these 5. Oh, Halliday's getting all racy now. He's got the foot out. He's trying to get the bike stopped around the heavily banked Siberia corner and the run up the hill. As you've mentioned, Steve, this is where he needs to make a move at the top of the circuit and try and get ahead of Maxwell, who's blisteringly fast out of turn 12.
We can just start to see the Yamaha now moving around a lot more than we've seen it all race. It's definitely more stable at the same speed, but he's going to have to push over the limit if he wants to take it to the man in front.
front. Well, Crew Halliday has not won a Superbike race since Morgan Park 2017, and this is his best chance for a long time as he has set up camp now on the ducktail of Wayne Maxwell's Panigale V4R as they come through turn 12. 4.45 kilometres to go as they come down to cross the line and get the last lap board. Maxwell with all sorts of pressure on the back coming from Crew Halliday, as he has done all weekend. Josh Waters still holding down third position. Waters has dropped off the back now. He's into the 33s. These two are still circulating around at blisteringly fast pace. In fact, they were both in the low 33s on that lap. Everyone else back in the 34s.
Up the inside goes Herfoss on Brian Starring on the final lap. Good move by Herfoss. That's exactly what he needs to do, but Starring, we know, is a fighter. He's definitely going to fight back on this one. Round turn 2 they go, side by side.
Oh, and this is where Herfoss is good because the Honda gets great drive out of the corners. It may suffer in top speed, but it gets out of the corners well, and that chassis is set up absolutely perfectly, and Herfoss is, well, just quite used to riding the wheels off the thing, quite bluntly. And speaking of riding the wheels off it, hasn't Crew Halliday done that all weekend? He's still there, but Wayne Maxwell just looks to have an answer for every question that Crew Halliday poses.
Absolutely. Maxwell now has just got that V4 Panigale wound up to the max, and that gap has come out. I'm unsure that the man in second place, Crew Halliday, is going to have an answer for him at the moment. And he really has got it sideways, but controlled. Maxwell in a good position to win this one right now.
Turn 10 for the final time. It is the Boost Mobile Racing with K-Tech Panigale V4R of Wayne Maxwell, bike number 47 that leads. Halliday on the 2020 Yamaha YZF R1M in second place, and Josh Waters in third. Turn 12 for the final time. Maxwell has got this one. All he's got to do is keep the bike on track, tuck down behind the screen, and use the power to drive himself to the line, which he has done all weekend. It is Maxwell that takes the win. Halliday in second. Josh Waters will hang on for third in his 100th ASBK start. Congratulations to the three-time champion. And Mike Jones will get fourth place. Herfoss and Starring as they come to the line. It is too close to call. Can't tell from that angle, Steve Martin. There is nothing in it.
No, very, very difficult to see who come out on top out of those two guys. But if I had to go off the photo finish, I reckon it's probably Herfoss who got the nod.
Herfoss by 0.024 of a second. That is so close at the front. But once again, it is Wayne Maxwell that takes the win. 0.7 of a second, not really a fair indication of how fast Crew Halliday's been this weekend. In second place, Josh Waters in third, Jones in fourth, Herfoss fifth, Starring sixth, Allerton in seventh, and back there in eighth position was Daniel Fowles, and Arthur Cece's in ninth, and Matt Walters rounded out the top 10.
Yeah, good to see Max Croker back in the pack too. Got some points in that one, back after injury last year. Bo beaten the final point as well. Aidan Wagner unfortunately ran off the track a couple of times there. Bad weekend for him. Evan Biles finished the race. Nathan Spiteri out there too, really good to see.
Josh Waters, congratulations on a great start to 2020.
Yeah, that was great. We changed the bike back to how it was in race one. My pace was a lot better. I had a little bit of something move, and I had quite a bit of chatter, so I couldn't fight at the end. But we need to go back. We'll have a little bit more time for the next round, and hopefully come back stronger. But huge thanks to everyone that's jumped on board, supported me. I couldn't have done it without you guys.
Well done, Josh. You see your Wakefield.
Thank you.
And in second position, another podium for his weekend. So he'll go away with a second in the championship, and overall, well done this weekend, Crew Halliday.
Yeah, thanks, Emma. I'm not going to lie, Wayne was just a bit quicker then. I think because I got a good start and I was straight behind him, I got a bit greedy on the throttle and probably hurt me tyre a little too early. But Wayne forced me to do that, and I had to do it to go with him. So I also had Josh behind me, so I was like, sort of closing off my lines where I had to try open to stay with Wayne. It was a bit tricky, but Wayne rode good. Hats off to the team, that bike's working flawlessly. I did have a little bit of wheel spin then, which I didn't really have yesterday. It's probably because I was trying a bit harder, but these things happened, and bring on Wakefield. It's closest around to me, so had really good results there, so I'm looking forward to it.
Great racing, well done, Crew. And your winner took 3 from 3, and obviously winning the round, another 25 points and a big lead for the championship heading into round 2. Well done, Wayne.
Yeah, thanks so much. Look, what can I say? Everyone at the Boost Mobile Racing with K-Tech has done an awesome job. Craig, everyone. It's been so hard. So, I want to thank everyone individually because it's so important, because it means so much to me. So, Greg, Julie, Craig, Adrian, Dale, my wife, my family. The commitment is massive. and for them, everyone else put their lives on hold just so I can be here is massively important. All my personal sponsors, Drummond Security Advisory, all those guys that have backed me, Livson, there's so many I can keep going on, Profile Interiors. So look, honestly, I'm thrilled, and again, this bike and team has exceeded my expectations.
The Wayne train is back.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, then was tough, and it's a true testament to Pirelli. Their tyre stood up to it, the lap times are consistent, so overall the package is good, and let's head home, let's head to Troy Herfel's home territory and hopefully put on a show for the fans.
Thanks, man.
No worries.
Congratulations to our top three for the round. Championship lead is held by Wayne Maxwell, a perfect score of 76 points. Crew Halliday, his best weekend in ASBK for quite some time. Second place on 60 points. Then it's Josh Waters on 51. Brian Starring in fourth on 49. Herfoss on 48. We head to his home territory next. Falzon on 41. Arthur Cece's in seventh. Mike Jones in eighth. Jed Metcher and Glenn Allerton rounds out the top 10. Plenty more coming up on the MA calendar events. My Bike Motorcycle Insurance Australian Superbike Championship presented by Motul. Round 2, the 27th to the 29th of March at Wakefield Park Raceway. The Australian MX Nationals, rounds 1 and 2, the 4th and 5th of April at Horsham in Victoria. And the Yamaha Australian Off-Road Championship, rounds 5 and 6, the 18th and 19th of April at Nowra in New South Wales. Of course, for more information, go to ma.org.au. Celebrations all round for our top three, Wayne Maxwell, Crew Halliday and Josh Waters. A great debut for the 2020 R1 of Crew Halliday, and also the privateer Suzuki of Josh Waters. 100 ASBK starts and finishes the round on the podium as well. Congratulations to our top three, but there's plenty more to come in 2020 with 6 more exciting rounds to go all the way around Australia. This is only the start, ladies and gentlemen.
And just like that, we wrap round 1 of the My Bike Australian Superbike Championship presented by Motul. Lots to talk about, Steve. I mean, did you expect to see Wayne so fast and so unstoppable, taking all 3 races?
What a way to start the championship off for him. The Wayne train at Phillip Island is always hard to stop, and I'll tell you what, the others better watch out. But a scintillating start for him. Really looking forward to see what he can do for the rest of the year.
Some unexpected results. Aidan Wagner, I mean, he was the one that won here this time last year. I didn't expect to see him so far back, and someone else like a Glenn Scott, I really expected him to be further forward up the grid.
Yeah, well, both of those guys' weekends didn't start off fantastic. Aidan Wagner made some mistakes in qualifying, and he started from 13th. Unfortunately for Glenn Scott, he had that crash which put him out, and he was on the back foot. He can't afford to let that happen again.
Someone else from the Yamaha racing team definitely worth mentioning, Crew Halliday on that new bike. If anyone was going to catch Wayne, it was him. He was so close at times.
Well, we're heading to Wakefield Park, Emma, as you say, and I'll tell you what, at Wakefield Park, watch out for Crew Halliday, because that's a track that he knows how to win at. He's won there before and he is hungry.
So yes, Wakefield Park, we head there next for stop number 2 from the 27th to the 29th of March. We hope to see you there. All the details at asbk.com.au, and of course in the meantime, make sure you stay up to date with our socials. We hope you enjoyed our coverage. Emma Francesco and Steve Martin, thank you very much to Phil Harlem and all of our team. See you next time.